Welcome to Gray Mason Gaming plays Solaris. Solaris is another game very similar to Neptune's Pride, and I'm going to go through one of their Ultra Mode games similar to Neptune's Pride and point out the differences. This is really meant more than anything to showcase Neptune's Pride versus Solaris, and maybe I get another win. And I played one newbie game, one 8-player game, and one 32-player game. I got lucky and won all three with a lot of help, and I'll be able to show you some of those games. I'm in two more right now, one of which is a 16-player game that's just for fun, and then this one here is a 32-player game that's just starting. It's obviously in a dark galaxy, and well, I'll be able to showcase you more details from there. But Solaris, you go in there, you make an account. What are the big differences? First of all, when you get in here and you see some of these games, the UI is going to jump out at you as being very different. This is one of my current games that I'm in right now. I'm thunderstruck because it's a fully anonymous game. This is the game, the 64-player game that I won, and you can see this just looks a lot different. And there's a lot more going on here. All the interfaces are different, and you'll see that as we go through. So that'll jump out at you. One of the other big difference is the notion of specialists. So this is still, you have stars. Here, let's go to our beginning game that's just starting off. You still have stars, right? And these stars have economy, industry, and science, just like Neptune's Pride. You upgrade them just like Neptune's Pride. This is my home star. This game is starting with 10 industry, 10 economy, and 3 science. You can build carriers to transport ships and warp gates to double the speed between 2 warped gated stars. That's all the same. But what's different is you'll see the specialist, and there are specialists that are hired for your stars and for your carriers. And the main categories, if we look at the specialists that go for your carriers, think of them as like the pilots of the carrier, and they're going to do one of 3 things mostly. They're going to give you more, they're going to adjust your weapon damage, your range, and your speed. So the lieutenant, you can add 1 weapon, but you deduct 1 range. The plunderer, you go 1.5 times faster, and then you get a bonus of when you destroy infrastructure, you get more benefit. Explorer adds 3 to your range and increases your speed, but -3 on weapons. So there's a few other things like the scrambler, so people can't see how many ships are on the carrier. We'll get into some of these other nuances, but essentially there's the token count is the more powerful the specialist, the more tokens that they cost. You start with some, and then they're a resource just like credits. At the end of each cycle, you'll be given 1 if you have a specialist technology of 1. You can research that and get that up to 10, 12, and that's how many tokens you'll get. And you'll see like +5 weapons, but -3 range, but it slows you down to 0.5. So it's really mostly adjusting those 3 things with a few other special things thrown in there. The other thing that you can do is get a specialist on your stars. Those are things like giving you more range, adding terraforming, adding manufacturing, defender bonus, warping it so people can't use your warp gates, but you can, scrambling it so people can't see what's on the star, adding research, adding range. This is a fun one. I actually built it on this star, the little heart. It's a world builder. It adds 1 to the natural resource every tick. -5 weapons, -3 scan. But it is, not every cycle, every hour. Every hour +1 natural resource. So these things get to be huge. And that is a big difference. And you need to use them wisely. But that's part of the fun of figuring out, and it adds a little more variety than Neptune's Pride, which is just more simplistic. Every carrier moves the same speed. There's no adjustments. You only have research for weapons. This gives you the ability to be a little bit more nimble and try some different things out. The other thing you'll notice here are the different types of stars. Oh, actually, right here, you see this pop up? New message from a bad musician. You get prompted right when the message comes in. It is really, really nice to be able to have a conversation, and boom, you get a notification instantly. It really helps with communication. That is super cool. But yeah, let's go ahead and look in this game here at some of the different types of stars you'll see. The stars that are just basic stars just look like a star. If they have a single symbol, they don't have a warp gate. These that have the double symbols, instead of being glowing, they have two of the symbols. That's the warp gate. The black hole is a black hole, and that, if it's a black hole, you get +3 scanning range. Why does that matter? Well, let's take a look in this game here, this Trojan Horse game. Here I am with the vision of a normal star. You can see that this line is my vision. But this is a black hole, and that's the vision. So you get to see a lot more. Now, black holes also have crap natural resources, but great for intel. So that's one type of star. Another type are wormholes. This one here, all these lines scattered throughout, those are wormholes. So for example, I had a wormhole. This was where I started. Where was my starting star? I think that was my starting star. I had this wormhole here, from here over to here, and there was an enemy in between. And so, but sometimes they're even more extreme, like the Jewish Star Empire down here. He had a wormhole from here all the way up to there. So they really open the map up, and again, add a lot more ability to move about the map and not be boxed in. Another type of star would be a nebula. So a nebula is just got this little shady thing on it, and it conceals infrastructure and ships from all other players except you. So people don't know what's in your system, and that can be devastating. So if you look at, let's look at this game here. This game here, I want to attack this orange player here. I have no idea how many ships. Now, if I'm paying attention, I might have some idea, but don't know how many ships are in there. Likewise, I have this nebula here. I know I have 6, but they don't know what that is. Okay. If you see the 2 stars, that's a binary. Those give you additional resources. So if you remember, like a home star in Neptune's Pride is 50 natural resources. This has got 86. There's some binary stars up here that I have. 132 natural resources. So these are stars that are better than your home world, sometimes by more than double. 122 natural resources. Oh wait, there's a really good one here. 145. So the binary stars, when they're available, are huge. And then you have some asteroid belt. So this one here is an asteroid belt. Pretty straightforward. It gives +1 defender bonus. So asteroids, nebulae, black holes, wormholes. Oh, and then pulsars is the other type. So in this new game that's starting out, it's a dark galaxy. Except I see some stars and things around here because this person is on a pulsar. They're always visible to all players in the game. Pretty cool. Gives you a sense of what the map layout may be. So those are the different types of stars. So you have specialists and different types of stars, and for most people, like that's going to jump right out at you, plus the UI. But there's some other nuanced things that are worth noting as well. Diplomacy is different. In Neptune's Pride in the basic game, you can form alliances with your words, but there's not a formal way to do formal alliances unless you're in a custom game, like some of the Stoned Apes games we did. It costs 150 credits to form, and then when you close it out, it takes 24 hours to go away. And you get vision and the ability to share use each other's stars. This is different. In this game, and I'll show you in this one here, I was allied with Rubber Ducky, for example, and that meant that I could, and here's a little diplomacy window. Let's find, yeah. So limiting factor, Fantopy, Grumpy. So these are people. If you just put a little handshake to, and they do as well, you can then go on their stars. You don't have vision of what they see, but I can just at any point just click that off and attack them. So it makes it a little more tricky, because if they say, okay, we're going to be allies, and send a bunch of their ships through, and then just unclick it, you're screwed. So you have to really trust it, just like before. But it also, what it does is it makes it a free way to not get boxed in. So in this game, this Rubber Ducky was allied with the Jewish Star Empire, with Fantopy and myself. In a normal game, he would be screwed. But because we were in a formal alliance, he was able to use my stars, and then get this whole clump of stars over here. He ended up getting, where did he get on the leaderboard? Pretty reasonable. Yeah, he got 3rd place overall. 3rd place overall, and he basically just was in this tiny part of the map, but then used my alliance to get over here, and then some wormholes to get up and grab some stars there. So that is a huge difference, and I think a really nice change. There are guilds. So if we go back and look at the main page here, I'm in a guild. I'm in the Stoned Ape and Friends, and you can then sort like who's got the most victories. Oh, that's me. Rank points. You know, most many victories. That's Foo. Most renowned. And does it really matter? Probably not. There's really nothing else you can do, but it's a nice. But it's something that I think they're going to try to expand on going forward, and add some more things to do in there. When you go to join a game, there are new player games, but then there's also a variety of other, like 4-player, 8-player, 1v1s, and then the 32-player games. I don't think there's a limit to the number that you can join, unlike Neptune's Pride. You can only join 2 at a time without being, buying a membership. One of the other big differences is the AI. So all the rules in Neptune's Pride about they only move every 4 hours, and here's the logic on what they'll do, and if they're down to 1 star they won't attack yet. Throw all that out. All of that out the window. They're still stupid, but they're different stupid. And so, for example, this is a dude. And a dude is AI controlled because they went AFK. And they were down to 1 star, and they just launched on me, and they actually took some things back. So you'll see a lot more like carrier spamming, where they're just like sending. You'll look over here. These are a bunch of AIs fighting each other, sending like carriers with 1 and 2 ships. It's kind of a weird AI. Still stupid, just different stupid. A little more aggressive as well. Another difference: when a game starts, there's a 4-hour pause before it begins, so you can make your adjustments, and that's really nice. It's 6 hours in the 32-player games, so this game here that's just starting up, so it's going to start in 1 hour and 5 minutes. It had a 6-hour window where you could go in and just make sure you get notified, make sure that you have all the commands for your stars in order, you know what you want to do. That's nice. Another change, and I think this gets down to at the end of the game, you'll notice that this game ended and I had 170 stars. There is almost never a situation in Neptune's Pride where you don't end a game with having to truly get the 33% or 50% or whatever. And so there's a feature where I wonder if I could do it in this one, where you can go and say, I'm ready to quit. You can't do it in this game. Can I do it in this one? Sometimes the setting's disabled. I can't do it because it hasn't started. But if you say, if everybody that's alive says ready to quit, the game instantly ends. And then that way, if people are like, listen, we don't want to have to duke this out, everyone's happy with where they're at, ready to quit. That's what these check marks are. Then boom, the game ends. And obviously the computers don't get a vote in that. And then when it ends, Neptune's Pride, only the top 3 players get rank. This is more generous. Like even the 10th place, the difference between 3rd place and 10th place in rank is not as substantial, so it's not as big of a deal. Like Jewish Star Empire was an ally of mine. He didn't care that he got, was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 7th place. The difference between 7th and 2nd, it just wasn't significant enough for him to even care. So he was like, yeah, just end it. I mean, he easily could have gotten 3rd, really. Like we would have made that happen. So, and also, if you're in so the top half all gets ranked, the bottom half loses rank. So that's another thing that is different about this. In a 32-player game, you get 32 renown, so there's more renown to give out, which is nice. You can be a little more generous with that. Some other things that are a little more subtle, and I'll say I'll say this is a negative. The combat logs are really, really hard to read. So if let's look at like an example here. All right, actually, so I'm getting all the renown. Let me go to this game. This game here that's in the middle of it. If we look at the combat log, first of all, the font is like super hard to read. I'm this blue. I can hardly read that. And it says your forces have engaged the enemy in carrier to star combat at this star. The defender, like, okay, am I defending? Am I attacking? And then it said it was captured by Thunderstruck. That is me. I'm like, okay, it would be nice if this text was legible and it didn't say the name of the carriers and stars, but actually listed the player. Because a lot of times I don't care. I need to know which one I am. And you can click on it and get there. So that is probably one of my least favorite things. The combat logs are not very readable. Oh, I kind of skimmed over this. There's carrier to star combat. There's actually carrier to carrier combat. So if there's a carrier, if you're like, okay, so for example, this guy is coming at me here with this one, I could launch a carrier at this star and kill him in mid-flight. Now, there's some reasons you would or wouldn't want to do that. Some of the specialists allow you to avoid carrier to carrier combat, and give you bonuses. Like there's a pirate that you get bonuses when you do the carrier to carrier combat, but minus when you're attacking a star. Or other ones where skip it all together, so you can just, okay, you're gonna come and attack me, fine, I'm gonna skip right past that and start taking over your systems. But it makes counterattacking a lot harder because if you try to counterattack me, you're gonna have to fight me either way. The other thing that's kind of nice, and now in these examples it's not here, but in the smaller games there is a time machine that's built in. That's really nice. The bulk updates. So let's look at this. I have 420 resources. If I want to put all of those into cache, I can just click here. I can hit check, and it's going to say you can get 13 upgrades for your 416. Here's your stars, and I can either confirm or take some of them out. Oh, these are going to go from 2 to 4. I could have excluded some of the stars. Really a nice way to do the bulk updates. Oh, you can say, I want to exclude these 3 frontline stars. Bulk update improvement for sure. There's a built-in ledger. So right now the game hasn't started, but if I look in this other game, you can see, okay, I owe, like, Lawrence gave me money, but I gave Ambassador Monarch money that didn't get reimbursed. Yo Diggity hooked me up. Yo Diggity hooked me up. Thank you, Jubalfet. Let's see, the research tab. The research tab is nice because it will show you not only, okay, experiment in 1 day, 1 hour, and then terraforming in 2 days and 2 hours. So it will show you the timing. Now you get that in some of the agents, just like the time machine. You get Neptune's Pride agent, but you get those free here. And banking got a little bit of a minor buff to it. Yeah, so those are the changes. I just wanted to show that as the introductory piece, and with that, we will just play this game on the Kusi game. And I will say, as it's starting off, what did I do? I started with 10 tokens. And I think it's better to get some faster carriers to claim stars to establish your borders faster. That's what I did in the Broma Sheeta's Landing that I ended up winning. I started down here and I just blew out and expanded really fast before I could get boxed in to maximize the number of stars I could get. But I wanted to try the world builder. It took all my resources, and what I did is I have here's my home star that's buffed. Here's a binary star that's got 106 resources. This star here only has 32, so let me go ahead and get that buffed up so I'll have this little triangle of power in the middle of my empire. Let's see how that works. From who else is in the game, there is a bad musician. You saw them reaching out to me. They told me that they're north of this pulsar, so even though it's dark, they're somewhere up here, so we're going to try to go and connect with them and work with them. The Jewish Star Empire said they would work with me, of course, and they're, I think, somewhere over here. But yeah, and I think if you look down here, that's a lot of stuff below me, and this is far north, so I think the northern part of the map must be somewhere up in here, and so I'm going to try to push towards that and see how that goes. Research-wise, I'm starting on experimentation. You'll notice these are not in, what is it? Neptune's Pride is like in 72. Each level's like 72, 144, and whatever. These are just like in increments of 100. Makes it a little easier to do the math. And you'll see this is scanning range, terraforming, experimentation, weapons, banking, manufacturing, the same as Neptune's Pride, but then also specialists. That gives you more tokens. So that's it. That is the quick rundown of the differences between the game, and then you can watch me play this and see what you think and see if we can't win. So far I've not lost a game of Solaris, so can I go 4 for 4? And probably not. Let's find out. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, click on the link for the next episode, and don't forget to click subscribe for more content.